What began as a love for helping people at a young age is leading to a career in law enforcement for LPD Officer Briana Deckard. Officer Deckard joins us for episode 149 of the Love and Lebanon podcast. She graduated from the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in mid-December, and now she can't wait to take the next step in her journey. Episode 149 of the Love and Lebanon podcast starts now.
Welcome to the Love and Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to loveandlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 149 of the Love and Lebanon podcast. I'm Joe LePage, the City of Lebanon Community Development Director, hoping everyone had a great holiday season. School is kind of getting back in the swing of things. LCSC, Lebanon Community School Corporation, begins today, Tuesday. What a big Tuesday for students heading back from the holidays and those blahs and things. Some of the things that maybe help you get ready for the new year and all those things. How about a new job, a new officer with our Lebanon Police Department? We've got Briana Deckard here on this episode of the Love and Lebanon podcast. Briana, Officer Deckard, thank you for being here on the pod.
Happy to be here.
And this is fairly recent. This is fresh out of the academy, recent graduate from the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, willing to take your time here. Hopefully there wasn't too much arm twisting to get you in here.
No, not very much, no.
We'll get the true story offline, everybody. Just kidding. But first off, see the happy picture here with you and Williamson here on the police department's Facebook page, and everybody, I'll put that on the graphic we put with our podcast episodes. But you look pretty happy in this picture to be done.
Yes, very happy.
Can you put into words that feeling of being done with that training, all that academy stuff?
It was more of a, now what's next? So you got the big chunk out of the way, then now you go into the unknown. And even on that Friday, December 15th, that we graduated, we still had classes the entire day. So even after that, we graduated. So it was still a jam-packed day of learning.
Well, let's talk about the chunk a little bit. This isn't something that's like a weekend of training or you go away for just a little bit. This is a pretty painstaking process, a long process to make sure it's something you want to do. How long did it feel?
Yes. Well, it was on paper 16 weeks, but it felt like a very long time. We have to stay on campus throughout the week. So we would only come home around Friday nights to the weekends, and we would go back Monday morning bright and early. So it felt like a very long time being away from home. A lot of new people. I had 2 other roommates. It was very interesting.
And what types of things does the academy entail? The 16 weeks of training, I'm guessing there's a lot of different things that take place during that time?
Yeah, so there's a lot of classroom learning. So you kind of sit in a little pavilion of just listening to instructors speak. There's different classes such as like the criminal law, breaking that down, traffic law, OWIs, even just like talking about mental illness and how to determine which one you're seeing in different cases that you're at. And then you lead into what's called breakout weeks, where you can physically go out and do firearm weeks, EVO, where the emergency vehicle operations, where you drive the track.
I think my head's still a little woozy from doing that. You may have seen the video, everybody, on our YouTube channel. Guys and gals from LPD willing to do that. But that's something you did.
Yes.
And law enforcement training as well.
Yes. As well as stops, so you learn how to do traffic stops.
Was there a part that was your favorite that you were, once it came time for this, it was, all right, here we go, that this is going to be a lot of fun at the same time?
My favorite was definitely firearms, but I also realized how much I liked EVO. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but that was our first breakout week, and I think it was also combined with getting out of the classroom and actually getting to talk with the people around me and be involved with different guest instructors. I think that was a big part of it, but I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, you guys kind of want to get in a little stir crazy of doing all the bookwork, and there's a lot that it goes along with it, right?
Yes, and I believe that was the 13th week that when the breakout started, so we spend all of that time in the classroom just sitting there for 8 hours a day. It's a little rough at times.
A little rough. I appreciate you kind of pulling that back a little bit. Was there something along in that training that kind of you didn't think you were going to enjoy? I don't want to say bookwork because we know, I mean, who enjoys that? But was there something that you didn't expect maybe to like going in, but then when you started to do that, it was, wait a minute, this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I've always been kind of interested in the different aspects of criminal law, but it also is very daunting because everyone says it's the hardest part and we have 2 separate tests over it. But I actually really enjoyed learning different ways that you can apply a certain statute or how it can work in different situations. So it was interesting to learn.
And when you finally got to that, I'm going to say graduation day, but when you finally got to the end of the training, did it feel like a weight had been lifted? All that drama of those previous 15, 16 weeks of going through this whole thing, kind of a weight lifted for you?
Yes, I definitely learned a lot. There is a lot more to learn as far as applying it in real deal situations, which after the breakout weeks, towards the end, it was a lot of scenario based. You go to different rotations of they give you a scenario you have to play out and use everything you've learned. I think that kind of set up for the future and now, but it's still a little different, still a little nerve-wracking, so still putting everything together.
So you mentioned it, what does happen now? They just kind of, the training wheels are off and here we go, or does the learning kind of continue along the way as well?
Yeah, so there's 4 phases for Lebanon. So before I went to the academy, I can do the first phase. It's usually about 3 weeks, depending on how well you progress. So now I'm in phase 2, and I'll continue on. And at the end, there's a shadow. So your FTO, your training officer, is in plain clothes and kind of just following you around and letting you do what you need to do and is there to step in if needed. But preferably not needed is the goal. And then I'll be on my 1 year probation till June, since that was when I was hired on. So
excited?
Very exciting.
I can tell. I can tell you're into this. Everybody, we're listening and we're talking with Briana Deckard. She is a new officer for our Lebanon Police Department, recently ending up at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy here on episode 149 of the Love and Lebanon podcast. So if you don't mind turning back the clock a little bit, when did this whole kind of field of law enforcement, when did it kind of really be something that you really thought you may enjoy, want to make a career out of?
I actually ended my high school career in Lebanon. I moved in the middle of my high school year, and I had an internship over at the prosecutor's office because at the time I thought I wanted to be a prosecutor, be a lawyer. But while I was there, I talked to Sam Myers, who is a
former chief.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he told me a lot of what he encountered being a police officer, and it kind of showed me a different light of maybe I could be able to do that because I was wanting to deal more in the community and talk with one-on-one with people. And I felt like I was starting to see that for me, I felt like being a lawyer was kind of after the fact. And I thought I wanted that, trying to tie up loose ties. Mm-hmm. But I think I would want to be more hands-on in the situation and the nitty-gritty of it. So I definitely wanted to be more hands-on with the community and talk with people every day.
And looking at the Facebook post when you did graduate and get through the academy, it looks like you had a pretty solid resume or extensive work in the law enforcement field ahead of coming to LPD. You're part of the Explorer program over in Clinton County, also Boone County, and the Sheriff's Office. Also, did that kind of further kind of enhance the yes, this is something I want to do kind of feeling within you?
Yes. So when I was in high school and going through that internship, I was 18. I was like, let's see what it's all about. So Clinton County was hiring at 18. I spent about a year and a half there. And then since I want to work in Boone County, because Lebanon's always been my number one place I want to work, I moved to Boone County. I moved to Boone County and worked there for about 8 months or so and kind of immersed myself in this community because it's very different. It's interesting to see how different the communities are, but I was glad I ended my time here in Boone County Jail.
What is it about the law enforcement field? You talked about the nitty-gritty and kind of being there on the front lines, quite literally in many cases. But what is it about that law enforcement field that was just like, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to get in here and do this?
I know it's very cliche to say, but I do like helping people. So when they're in those situations, when their emotions are all over the place, they don't have a clear head, just being that person to have a calm voice and talk to them and walk them through the next steps or what they need to do to either be in a better place in their life or for the people around them. I do like being there when they need someone with a clear head and someone with some direction of what do I do next because they can't think for themselves at that time.
Yeah, and you're there to help them.
Correct.
Quite literally help everybody. Everybody, we're talking with Briana Deckard. She is a new officer with our Lebanon Police Department here on the Love and Lebanon podcast. And if you don't mind me asking, were there very many more females in the academy during that training? And is it something that you guys kind of bonded if there were?
Yes, actually one of my roommates was the female officer in Whitestown and we kind of grew a friendship in that as well. So it was nice to see more people in my county that we're going through it together and that even after the fact that we'll still be able to work together as well, even from across the place. My other roommate was from Ripley County, which is a long way away from here, yeah. But still being able to see even her community and see the difference between the two and even throwing ideas back and forth when we would do different reports. We had to do like a mock report of different situations, and we kind of threw ideas of what crime we could attach to which person, and just kind of running ideas together was fun, and see how different people can think about different situations.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that camaraderie really helped out as well, because if we can be totally honest, everybody, we're always transparent on the podcast, but it's got to be a challenge, because it's for the most part it's a male dominated field, and it's fantastic that there's so much more diversity now, where female officers are really getting in and doing a great job, like yourselves, passionate about the field and the industry. And I'm guessing there was some camaraderie with those other officers to be able to do a fantastic job and to stand out in the face of, the past, and being willing to have a positive future for law enforcement officers of the female persuasion going forward.
Yes, very much so, yeah. And we kind of just see the different things of also being a female in this career, and in the unknown environment of the academy. You kind of want to put yourself out there because you want to be tested in different ways. So like even the more difficult scenarios they would give us, I would want to volunteer for that so I can be ready for if and when it does happen out here in the so-called real world. Yeah. So it's more of just pushing yourself, and I don't know if that has to do with being a female as well, or just kind of wanting to learn more. I'm not sure, but there's definitely little things here and there where you can tell that being a female is a little different than being a male in this career, for sure. And
in the past, we've done Lebanon Fire Department hired its first female firefighter, passed all the tests, and got a real passion for it. It's amazing. Assistant Chief Amy Dickerson has been on the podcast before, and she shared some fantastic insights about being a female in a mostly male-dominated field, and being able to stand out and work and do that. That type of thing, does it inspire you or further give you confidence that you can succeed just like other females are succeeding in these fields?
Yes, I'm also very hard-headed, so I feel like that also pushes me.
Oh, bring that on! Right?
Yeah, if you don't think I can do it, then I'll do it, and I'll do it with you. So it pushes me a lot to be right there with people when they least expect it.
And Briana, we'll get you out the door, and appreciate you coming in. First thing, this is how you started your day, was coming in. Major Mount said, "Yep, she starts at 1:30. We'll have her come in at 1:31, and then boom." You were here before 1:30.
Yes.
Appreciate you starting your day with recording a podcast here on a Monday, airing Tuesday. But what are you hoping to bring to the department as a new officer, excited about the field, and what can folks expect and when they see you out in the public and being able to interact with Lebanon Police Department's newest officer?
I'm excited to bring more insight possibly to the department, just got a different way of thinking, as well as being one of the newer ones fresh out of the academy. There's some things that I could bring up that maybe some people forgot about that we could do in certain situations. Also just kind of being a friendly female face out there. I know there's been little girls talking to me, and I always pass out goodies to them, but that is always the peak of my day, is talking to kids and kind of getting our name out there in a more positive way so they can kind of see both sides of it if they do. I also am excited to get some more goodies to give out to some kids.
Are you saying there's some more swag here around the office?
Possibly,
it looks like,
possibly.
Everybody, my office is not one of the neater ones or the well-kept ones in the building. You can see that firsthand, right? It's kind of all over the place in here.
I'm sure it's organized in its own way.
I appreciate your kindness. That's got to be a highlight, though, to see young people, not only willing, but certainly excited to come up to you to interact and being able to just ask you questions, get some free stuff along the way, but also just being able to interact with a member of law enforcement. That's got to make you feel great.
Yes. I might look a little mean, but I promise I am nice. If you want to talk to me, I will talk to you. So.
And finally, Officer Deckard, the LPD, and you talk to Chief Morgan, anybody else that's associated with the department, they talk about kind of the family feel. It feels like a really big family, and there's just that camaraderie. Is it something you felt early on? Have you felt it yet with the department, or is it something that maybe look forward to getting further entrenched in that family feel as your career continues with LPD?
Yes, I felt that farther back, even in the Explorer program. When I would start my ride-alongs, I would ride along with a couple guys, and even then, we would be just joking with each other, and I would just keep throwing questions at them, and they would answer, or they give me a hard time, and just kind of, depending on our personalities, I definitely meshed well with majority of the guys there. I haven't met everybody yet. I haven't been on
big family.
Shifts.
It's a family feel, but it's a big family.
Yes, it's a big family. But everyone I have encountered has definitely been very welcoming and have always been open to insight, either from me or I always am open to listening to them.
And you bring up a good point too about the Explorer program. If someone else is kind of in those lines of thinking of maybe law enforcement is right for me, would you recommend the Explorer program to kind of go along and just kind of give it that trial run, that type of thing?
Yes, I definitely would have other people look into that. If you go on our website and email Officer Custis, he's in charge of that. Hopefully I'm working along with him here after I get off training and everything, and see if I can kind of pick up some of the ranks for him and see if I can help him with any of that, because I've always been interested in working in that program and working with the kids who, if they are interested, I want to make sure they know what they can get themselves into, and if they want that, then let's go for it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Very well said. And like Officer Deckard said, you can check out LPD's website and you can see a lot of that information there to maybe begin your law enforcement journey as well. Officer, thank you so much for being here on the podcast. You will no doubt be walking away with a lot of swag to be able to give to people that you meet along the way.
I'm very excited.
Don't worry about that. And thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Love in Lebanon podcast. We will bring more episodes along the way as 2024 continues. Thanks again for listening, and we'll chat again soon.